Hello, hello. I'm going to show you guys how to find your birth chart. You need your exact birth time in order to have a correct chart, and I'll show you why later in the video. But if you don't have your birth time, you can either contact your local hospital where you were born or the local health department, or sometimes different states have them in different places wherever they hold the health records, birth records, and request that a copy of the birth certificate with the time on it. Some people's birth certificate already has it printed on there, so you may already see them. And if you don't have access to your birth records in that way, there are people who specialize in birth time rectification, and they use different tools to be able to obtain your birth time. So do your own research, use your own discernment with that. But you can find your birth time if you don't have it. There are ways to find it if your mom does not remember, I promise. So once you have your birth time, come back here, go into your browser and go to astro.com. And then once you are here on the home page, you can click the menu with the three bars. And then we'll go to free horoscopes and then go to horoscope drawings and data and then extended chart selection. And it will bring you to this page. And if you already are in here, it will have your name in this place here. If you haven't entered yourself in the system yet, you're going to want to add it. So once you click add, it will bring you to the birth data entry page, and you can enter all of the information here and then be able to hit you hit continue. I got distracted, and then you'll be able to have your information in there. So once you're in this page and you have yourself entered in, you're going to want to check and make sure that natal chart wheel is what it says here. And then you want to keep web default style. The date can be whatever date you want, really. Since we're looking at a birth chart, the date there is less important. When you're looking at the current astrology and the transits today, or you want to go look at transits at a different time, that is when you'll change that date. And then in this section, we're going to make sure that tropical is highlighted and geocentric. There are different lenses you can use to study astrology. I study Western astrology through the tropical lens. It's based on the 4 seasons: spring, summer, winter, fall. So interestingly enough, I now live in a place that doesn't have seasons in that same way, but we also call it tropical, and I live in the tropics. So yeah, food for thought. But the system is based on the equinoxes and the solstices, and they start each of those new seasons. So they may look different in different parts of the world, but we still have these astronomical points happening. There are other lenses that study the sky differently. So again, do your own research, use your own discernment, and find the systems that work best for you. And where it says default here, we're going to change that to whole signs. I also work with a system called Placidus that just adds a little bit more nuance and another layer to the chart that we're looking at. Whole signs is really the most basic formation of it, and I'll go into a little bit more about what whole signs is and why I like to use it, and especially why I like to use it to teach. I think it just is the easiest way to help you understand the language, get familiar with the symbols and the language of astrology, and starting to understand how to put the puzzle pieces together. And then you can piece on all these other different lenses. So yes, tropical, geocentric, whole signs. This section here has a bunch of different points and other astronomical bodies that you can add into your chart to look at other layers of meaning. But for this demonstration, for this course, I'm just going to keep it with the most basic ones. We may get into adding some later on, but there are people who work with all these different specialties within astrology. So finding the astrologers that hit home for you the most, and then working with whatever you find on your own research here. So we're going to leave all of these unchecked except for down here. I'm going to do landscape if possible. If you're on a phone, you probably just want to leave it as normal. But I think on a computer, the landscape version is just easier. You can see everything without having to scroll. So landscape if possible. And same thing down here. These are just some different options that you can add into the chart. For now, I'm just going to leave them all blank. And then that's it. You're going to hit show the chart, and then it is going to take you, well, first it'll take you to this page, and then you just click on the chart itself, and it will bring you to a full page version of your chart. So I am going to go through this course with an e-guide that I made last year. If you are interested, the e-guide is available on my website and on Etsy. So you can familiarize yourself with the e-guide, or you can come and take these individual classes and use the e-guide alongside of it. This video, I just really want to show you how to get your chart and what to look for originally. So once you have your chart, just double check your time of birth up here. Some of the systems do use a 24-hour time clock. So just making sure that all your information is correct before you dive in here. And then if you're going to be taking my course and you're going to be going through my classes, make sure that whole signs is selected. And what that means is that essentially, right, we have a circle here, and a circle is 360 degrees, and we have 12 signs that we work with in Western astrology. There is a 13th sign that you might hear about. Other systems do use 13 signs. They're calculated a little bit differently, but for the sake of Western astrology, for tropical astrology, for this course, we're using whole signs, and we're using, that means that there's 12. So there are 12 little pie pieces here, and they're all equal to one another. So you can see these little tick marks around the edge. Each one of those represents 1 degree. So there are 360 of them around this whole circle, and each one of the 12 signs is 30 degrees. In astrology, we start with 0 and we go through 29. So when you see each of these long black lines, you're starting a new sign, and you're going to start with 0 degrees, and then you're going to hit 29 degrees, and then it's going to go to 0 degrees of the next sign. So I like to use whole signs because each one of the pie pieces is 30 degrees. It's helpful for understanding. However, some people are going to read whole signs and some stuff's just not going to quite hit. The lines are drawn differently in other types of systems, and you may have some that are really large and some that are very, very small. So the planets here then can shift into different pie sections, and we call those pie sections houses. So the houses are numbered 1 through 12. So the houses can be different sizes in other systems, and that just allows for these placements to then shift into a different house, and the house rules the area of life that things happen in. So when we use whole signs, this is one lens. When you use a different one, it can shift into showing you just a different nuanced layer. So people are complex, right? And these tools help us see people as a whole. And there are different ways of interpreting these things. And there are different ways of looking at them, and they reveal deeper and deeper layers of the self. So there are astrologers out there who have been studying this way longer than I have, and they are way more in depth with it. And they can, the information that they can pull out about someone is astounding. And I hope that I can get to that level someday to be able to really help guide people. But for now, we're working with the level of knowledge that I have here with whole signs. And if you want, you can go over to my website, and I have courses listed over there that will walk you through each of the different building blocks. So that is how you get your chart. And maybe I'll see you over in the course. And if you want to check out the e-guide, again, it's available on my website and on Etsy, and it just kind of is a visual written form of what we're going to go over in these classes. So happy learning, happy journeying. Enjoy the mirror of astrology. Astrology is just a tool, and it just shows us different parts of ourselves, and we can use this tool to help ourselves grow and make choices that can move us along a more aligned path. Yeah, so enjoy.